Why did the chicken cross the road? I mean, why didn't the chicken cross the road? Because the butcher was on the other side.
Excuse me. Chapter Chav Vav of Shaar HaEmunah. To start, V'zehu ayin b'ayin yiru, and eye to eye you will see. Hulu, perush ayin b'ayin, the eye to eye. Kamo she'adam roi es ra'ahu, that just as a person, a man sees his colleague, panim al panim, face to face, she'anu ro'o es ayin ra'ahu, that his own eyes sees the eyes of his colleague, va'ayin ra'ahu ro'e el anu, that the eye of his colleague also sees his eyes. Shizehu nikra ayin ba'ayin yira'u. This is what it means, that eye to eye you will see. Al derech hapashit. This means a very plain sense, very simple sense. V'kein yuvan b'bechinus ruchnius, and same thing too in the spiritual sense. That just like you see a person eye to eye, al pi kol Yisrael. This is according to what we said earlier. Dihine kasiv ayin Hashem al yira'u, that the eye of Hashem is to those who fear Him. V'kein einav kiyunim, like the eyes of a pigeon are merciful. This is a pasuk from Kuf Lamed Gimel 133 of Tehillim. Shezehu melamayla lamata ma'akadosh baruch hu l'knesses Israel. That this is lamayla from above, lamata to below, from Hashem ma'akadosh baruch hu l'knesses Israel, to the congregation of Israel. That Hashem perceives the Jewish people with a merciful eye. Because of enecha yunim meknesses Israel l'kadosh baruch hu. And this idea of the eyes of a pigeon, a merciful eye, is the same thing too from the perspective of the Jewish people to Hashem, to God. V'kein einai kol elecha, that eyes of all depend on you. Chulu. Akamoi hara'u begimel ragloim diyira kol zechorecha es penei Hashem mamish. That those who go to see during the 3 pilgrimage festivals, the Gimel of Aglayim, that's Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot, the Yidden who lived in Israel during that time when the Beis HaMikdash was standing a couple thousand years ago, would make a pilgrimage festival, would make a pilgrimage to Yerushalayim during those times of years, during those 3 Chagim, during those 3 festivals, and they would go, and all those who came to the Beis HaMikdash, all those who remembered Hashem to go there, they would es penei Hashem mamish. They would dira kol zehorecha es penei Hashem mamish. They would go and behold Hashem. They would see Hashem in actuality. Ukashem shaboy lirois. And they would go and they would come to see Him. Kol ze berias ayin hasechel. When they would see Hashem in the Beis HaMikdash, this referred to the eye, but to the intellectual eye, the eye that understands, and we're going to get into this in a moment. When we talk about the eye that understands, it's not in any way the physical eye. This is rather like the eye of the intellect that's able to perceive and behold and understand and look around and say, hey, this is what we got over here. We got this godliness. We have this thing that's in front of us, and this is the reason why it's happening, and this is what's going on, and these are all the beautiful things that we're interacting with. And it's all from the one simple source, Hashem, God. And it's the intellectual eye that's able to perceive it all and tell us exactly what it is that's going on. So this is Berias Ayin HaSeichel, the ayin of the intellect, the neshama ha'elokis, of the godly soul, of the unique Jewish soul, which is inherently godly. Why? Because it's literally a part of God above. As it says in chapter 2 of Tanya, written by the Alter Rebbe, Al chelik elekal hima al mamish, that the Jewish soul, which is specifically the godly soul, is literally a part of God above. So when we're talking about the riyas seichel, the seeing of the intellect with the intellectual eye, with the ayin haseichel, yiras ayin haseichel, we're talking about that aspect of the godly soul which is perceiving Hashem in the Beis HaMikdash. Ukamoi b'matan Torah, And the same thing too happened at Mount Torah. That when Hashem came down to that mountain from the heavens, when God came down on the mountain from the heavens, the Jewish people were like, there's Hashem, there he is, wow, in his full glory. When they were perceiving Hashem, over there it was their godly soul, inherently that was perceiving it with the intellectual eye. And that's what the Mittler Rebbe is bringing here. He's comparing the seeing that took place in the Beis HaMikdash, that took place with the godly soul, to the seeing that took place with the godly soul at Mount Torah. Not that the seeing didn't take place at all with a rational soul, but for this purpose, part of the mimer, for this part of the Hasidic discourse, we're dealing strictly with the godly soul that's perceiving everything that happened. Shekol ha'am ro'im, that the whole nation saw. Af al pi shiru ba'ayin gashmi, that even though they did see with the physical eye, ve'ech yaru kol shesarech shmiya. So he brings a question. How did they see a voice, which is necessary to hear? V'lo yira ela kamo she'amru roim es hanishma, v'shmuin es hanira. How did they, it says like this, how did they see a sound that's necessary to hear? Because at Mount Torah, the Jewish people were holding at such a level that they saw sounds. So the Mittler Rebbe is asking a question. And how come their seeing was on the level of hearing? Vishmuin es hanira, and they heard what's normally seen. So, for the purpose of this mimer, and they heard what they saw. So if they heard what they saw, how is that really possible to hear what's normally seen? How is it possible to hear lightning? But for the purposes of this mimer, what we're mainly dealing with is how come their hearing was mainly on a level of seeing? What was going on over there? How were they able to do that? Bainu.